Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Alex Japan and welcome to the last episode in my Sound Like Kanami series, part 4. This is the part where we're going to take a look at composing a solo in the style of Kanami and BAND-MAID, so let's get into it. Okay, so far in the series we've looked at how to get Kanami's guitar tone, we've looked at how to write a song and songwriting techniques in the style of BAND-MAID and Kanami, and we've also looked at some of Kanami's licks, guitar licks in part 3. So now we're going to dive into, sort of getting into Kanami's headspace for writing a solo. Really the main goal of this video is just to showcase approaches to solo writing. So you guys out there that are watching that play guitar, hopefully you'll take something away from this, just approaches to, how to go about writing a solo, especially in the style of Kanami, and also for the guys that don't play guitar. Hopefully you'll find it interesting, just me trying to get into Kanami's headspace and just see what comes out. So I wasn't sure how to do this video. Ideally I would just sit and record ideas and just sort of improvise like on the spot while recording, but I can't really do it with this setup. I'd need to get different software that costs money. So what I'm going to do is basically the solo that I came up with went through 3 main incarnations. So I'm going to play you all 3 of those, the last one being the final solo, and just talk about them, just talk about what I was thinking and what I did to change them, and and I'll break down what I'm doing and talk about the decision making process. Okay, so whenever I sit down to write a solo, and I think Kanami does this too, I'm sure every lead guitarist will do this, is basically you just set up a few tracks and you just improvise and you record the improvisations. I like to record about 3 or 4 different improvisations and just keep things that came out good, try and work on them, and then sort of from those takes you can kind of piece together something, and you might be able to piece together a whole solo, but you might not. You might just be able to piece together a few ideas here and there, but it's a good starting point. So for this song, one of the first improvisations that came out, I got pretty close to the solo that I'm about to do, and this is the first proper version of the solo that came out, and I was very happy with this up until about a week ago, where I started to change things. So up until about a week ago, this was the solo. So here it is. Okay, so that was solo version 1.0. It's a really cool solo. Really, the solo starts from the bridge because there's like a whole tapping section, but it all kind of builds up. So I thought, the best way to just like make that build up, climax, is just to like go into a big bend on the high strings. So that's what I did. Big bend on 15. So this was kind of like the start of the Non-Fiction Day solo, where she's like, she does that kind of, so I kind of did that too, obviously on different strings, so it fits. So I thought that was a really powerful way to open the solo, and then I kind of just carried on the pentatonic, something like that. I thought that was quite a nice way to bring it in. And what I've noticed about Kanami's solos is what she tends to do is, it's not just shred all the time. She'll either start shreddy and then she'll calm down and then maybe go back. Her solos are always very dynamic. They they don't just like start at 10 and stay there. Sometimes they start at 8, go down to 6, and then go up to 10. Sometimes they start at 10, go down to 5, go back up to 8, go back down to 4, and then go back up to 10 again. They're kind of like this, which I think is awesome. So this is the kind of approach that I tried to take with this. Here we are, we're starting, round about 8, 10 being like, rah, one being very technical, I know. So we're starting up here, and then we're bringing it down a bit, and then we're going into some kind of 2-string bends. And I put in like another little chromatic bit there. So just that cool little, you know, Kanami always loves to put in these little chromatic bits. So basically I've got a fast lick coming up here, so I didn't want to go too nuts with the, I could have gone, instead of that, I could have gone, you know, something like that. But, you know, because that, then this bit was coming in. You know, I didn't want to keep it fast all the time. So that kind of brings us up to that little pentatonic, back into the chromatic. And then into the second half of the solo. And the second half of the solo took inspiration from a lot of Kanami solos and does the tremolo kind of fret hopping thing. Just another cool way to, like, you know, we're bringing it down, but then we're bringing it back up. This actually came out pretty much, you know, as an improvisation. It was very close to like how it ended up sounding, and I thought it sounded awesome, so I just kept it. And then, so where do we go from there? We're kind of getting to the end of the solo, so we want to, you know, end on 10. So, you know, we've got some stuff in the middle here, so, you know, we've come all the way from here, right up here, so the next part should be round about the 12th, 14th fret kind of thing. Kind of took inspiration for this bit from the chorus in YOLO, you know, the kind of lead part that she plays. You know, she kind of plays those kind of chords in the chorus to YOLO, and I just thought that was a cool way. You know, it kind of brings it down a bit from the chaos of the tremolo picking. Up here, bit of melody, and that just came out naturally. So that was really nice. And then we're just ending it on a very classic Kanami lick. You'll probably recognize that one from Domination. And that was the solo. So yeah, I was actually really happy with it, especially the last half. I actually kept the last half the same through the other two incarnations of the solo. So the last half from that tremolo picking is in the final solo. It was really just the first half that was bothering me, and I'll explain why now. So yeah, about a week ago, you know, I've been listening to the solo a lot, you know, since I recorded it. And I was just thinking, does this sound like Kanami? And I basically said to myself, the second half sounds like Kanami, but the first half doesn't. The first half is way too rooted in the pentatonic. It sounds more like Slash playing than Kanami, you know, with these kind of, you know, it kind of sounds something straight out of a Guns N' Roses song. The only slight Kanami bit, you know, was the kind of the way it starts and the little, even that, we're still in the blues kind of pentatonic. So I wasn't really happy with it, so I thought I'd just sit down and try out some new ideas. And since actually doing the Kanami licks video, so I actually did that first solo before doing the licks video, and then after the licks video I learned a few licks that I thought, you know, might be good in the song, namely this one from Warning. So I started messing about that and realized that actually fits. You know, it's the right tempo for the song. So I had to go at trying to fit that in there, and I thought that would just make it sound a bit more like her, since, you know, that's one of the licks that she's recently used. So this next solo is solo version 2.0, and again, this is a solo I was very happy with until today, and then I changed it again. So here's version 2.0. So basically in this solo I kept the start the same. All that basically I took out was those kind of Guns N' Roses-y bits that I mentioned before, the kind of double string bends. That's what I replaced with the... And then from there, it just naturally went up to here. I messed around with a couple of different ideas there. Things like that, but I settled on... Just thought it sounded the coolest. And yeah, I could hear Kanami doing something like that, I think. And then the rest of the solo was pretty much the same. One thing I did do after coming out of that bit, I kind of slid into the tremolo part. And because I've got the delay on quite heavy, it sounded really cool, that slide going into it. So I thought that'd be cool, I'll keep that. So I kept going back and forth between version 1 and version 2, trying to decide which one I liked the best, and I did finally settle on 2. I thought it just sounded a bit more like Kanami, and it was a bit more dynamic. It didn't just stay around the 12th and 14, like it went right up to, you know, big bends on the 17 and then back down again. So yeah, it was kind of, you know, more dynamic and a bit more in the style of BAND-MAID. One thing that bugged me a lot though in this was just the transition into that lick. So basically what it was. So I kept it the same with that chromatic. So the only way I could figure it to do would be and then into it. And I had problems with this because I didn't think that sounded very like Kanami. It sounded too simple. You know, it just, again, it's following the pentatonic. Even though it's a pentatonic lick, it just didn't sound exciting enough, really. I tried so many different things to get that, you know, to connect. I tried doing things like this. You know, little fast, you know, chromatic things like that, but it sounded too cluttered. Especially with that lick, you know, like I said before, she doesn't really like to mash too many fast things together unless they're sort of like within the same phrase. So yeah, I did struggle. Another thing I tried to do was like a kind of, you know, keep a little bit of those double string bends in. I sat down today and listened to it again. I just wasn't feeling it. I couldn't come up with anything good. I just thought there needs to be a better way to bridge the opening bends with this lick here. From there on, I thought the solo was awesome. So basically, I kind of sat down and just started playing around with lick ideas. And one thing that kind of like got into my head and kind of like started, before I even tried it on guitar, it kind of like, I just started hearing it, you know, sort of that it could be in there somewhere, was the lick from Moratorium. That lick. So something like that. And then I started playing around with this kind of, which, yeah, to me sounds a lot more Kanami-ish. So I thought if I can find a way to fit that, something like that in between the opening intro and, you know, the ascending lick, then I think this is the solo. Okay, so here we go. This is the solo for the song in the style of BAND-MAID. It's called It's Automatic. What I'm going to do is I'm going to include the bass in this part as well, just so you can hear it within the full mix. Obviously it's not mixed. This is just still very raw. But yeah, you'll get a sense of what it's all going to sound like together. So here we go. Okay, so that was the solo. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. I think it sounds awesome, and it did push me. This is something that I took away from doing this, and I hope it's something that you take away as well. I really tried to push myself in this. I didn't just stop at version 1. I was happy with that solo. If I wasn't doing this in the style of Kanami, I would have probably just left the solo as it was in version 1. But because I didn't feel like it was, I was doing her justice, it really pushed me to do better. And even in version 2, I still felt it could be better. So I really tried to push, and like it took me a while to fit that new lick in. So I wanted to end on a note that you wouldn't expect, and that's a very Kanami thing to do. Even that I still wasn't totally happy with, so I changed it to changing notes again. And that's Kanami just likes to do things like that, just unexpected things. She's taught me a lot from learning her solos, and I hope from me doing these videos that you guys are learning stuff too and improving your playing, or just your appreciation for what she does if you don't play guitar. A lot of people have said they've really enjoyed just watching these breakdowns and just seeing the thought that goes into what it takes to come up with this stuff. So let me know down below, guys, what you think of the solo, and just let me know how you think the track's sounding so far. I know you haven't really heard much. It's definitely not going to be long before it's ready. I actually have the vocals now. I'm still adding bits and pieces to the music, changing arrangements and things like that. There's a whole intro now, and yeah, the second verse is different. I really am looking forward to sharing this with you guys, and I promise it won't be too long before it's ready. Obviously, I'm still going to be showing the whole song on YouTube, but if you want, early access to it and you want an actual copy of the song, you can still sign up to my Patreon and just, choose the $3 tier, and that'll get you it as a download. And you'll also get, if you keep the subscription going, you can, get tracks from me every month, but there's no obligation to, keep this subscription going. You could get 1 month, get this song, and then cancel it. So yeah, there's no obligation at all to stay subscribed to the Patreon. But if you want an actual high quality copy of the song when it's finished, then that's the way to do it. So the link to the Patreon is in the description. So thank you guys so much for watching this series. I know just from reading the comments that you guys have really enjoyed it, and I'm so happy as well that the guys that don't play guitar enjoyed it too. It's given them an insight into how stuff like this gets made, and just their thought process and stuff. So I'm so happy that you found it interesting. Thank you again, and yeah, it won't be long before the track is out. Like I said, if you want it early, then get onto the Patreon, and you'll get a copy when it's done, as soon as it's done. Please subscribe if you haven't already. According to my YouTube analytics, about 83% of the viewers, I think more, 85, something like that, 85% of the viewers aren't subscribed. So if you're one of the people, if you're one of the 85% that are watching this and aren't subscribed, then I would really appreciate it if you did. It would be awesome. I'm very close to breaking the 2,000 subscribers, so it would be awesome if I could do that. So until next time, guys, stay safe, and yeah, have a good one. We'll see you soon. Bye.